Hello everyone, hope you're doing well today. We are back for another video within the ASMR Bible series. We are actually, believe it or not, closing out the book of Ecclesiastes, a relatively short book with only 12 chapters, and we're picking up today in chapter 10. As you maybe have come to expect from me by now, just a reminder that if you like these videos, leave a like. It helps promote these videos to go to other people who may enjoy this ASMR, same ASMR as you. And if you like these videos and you want to see more of them, please subscribe. That allows people like me to keep making videos for people like you. So, that out of the way, we'll go ahead and get started. Ecclesiastes chapter 10. Dead flies make the perfumer's ointment give off a stench, so a little folly outweighs wisdom and honor. A wise man's heart inclines him to the right, but a fool's heart to the left. Even when the fool walks on the road, he lacks sense, and he says to everyone that he is a fool. If the anger of the ruler rises against you, do not leave your place, for calmness will lay great offenses to rest. There is an evil that I have seen under the sun, as if it were an error, or as if it were an error proceeding from the ruler. Folly is set in many high places, and the rich sit in a low place. I have seen slaves on horses, and princes walking on the ground like slaves. He who digs a pit will fall into it, and a serpent will bite him who breaks through a wall. He who quarries stones is hurt by them, and he who splits logs is endangered by them. If the iron is blunt, and one does not sharpen the edge, he must use strength, but wisdom helps one to succeed. If the serpent bites before it is charmed, there is no advantage to the charmer. The words of a wise man's mouth win him favor, but the lips of a fool consume him. The beginning of the words of his mouth is foolishness, and the end of his talk is evil madness. A fool multiplies words, though no man will knows what is to be, and who can tell him what will be after him? The toil of a fool wearies him, for he does not know the way to the city. Woe to you, O land, when your king is a child, and your princes feast in the morning. Happy are you, O land, when your king is the son of the nobility, and your princes feast at the proper time, for strength and not for drunkenness. Though sloth and the roof sinks in, and through indolence the house leaks. Bread is made for laughter, and wine gladdens life, and money answers everything. Even in your thoughts do not curse the king, nor in your bedroom curse the rich, for a bird of the air will carry your voice, or some winged creature tell the matter. Solomon's ahead of his time, huh? Chapter 11. Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days. Give a portion to 7, or even to 8, for you do not know what disaster may happen on earth. If the clouds are full of rain, they empty themselves on the earth. And if a tree falls to the south or to the north, in the place where the tree falls, there it will lie. He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap. As you do not know the way the Spirit comes to the bones in the womb of a woman with child, so you do not know the work of God who makes everything. In the morning sow your seed, and at evening withhold not your hand, for you do not know which will prosper, this or that, or whether both alike will be good. In the morning sow your seed, and at evening withhold not your hand, for you do not know which will prosper, this or that, or whether both alike will be good. Life is sweet, and it is pleasant for the eyes to see the sun. So if a person lives many years, let him rejoice in them all. But let him remember that the days of darkness will be many. All that comes is vanity. Rejoice, O young man, in your youth, and let your heart cheer you in the days of your youth. Walk in the ways of your heart and the sight of your eyes. But know that for all these things God will bring you into judgment. prosperous. Remove vexation from your heart, and put away pain from your body, for youth and the dawn of life are vanity. Chapter 12. Remember also your Creator in the days of your youth, before the evil days come, and the years draw near, of which you will say, I have no pleasure in them. Before the sun and the light and the moon and the stars are darkened, and the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house tremble, and the strong men are bent, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those who look through the windows are dimmed, and the doors on the street are shut, when the sound of the grinding is low, and one rises up at the sound of a bird, and all the daughters of song are brought low. They are also afraid also of what is high, and terrors are in the way. The almond tree blossoms, and the grasshopper drags itself along, and desire fails, because man is going to his eternal home. And the mourners go about to the streets, before the silver cord is snapped, or the golden bowl is broken, or the pitcher is shattered at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the cistern, and the dust returns to the earth as it was, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher, all is vanity. Besides being wise, the preacher also taught the people knowledge, weighing and studying and arranging many proverbs with great care. The preacher sought to find words of delight, and uprightly he wrote the words of truth. The words of the wise are like goads, and like nails firmly fixed are the collected sayings. They are given by one shepherd. My son, beware of anything beyond these. Of making many books there is no end, and much study is weariness of the flesh. The end of the matter, all has been heard. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every deed into judgment with every secret thing, whether good or evil. It's a good dismount. The end of the matter, all has been heard. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every deed into judgment with every secret thing, whether good or evil. That is the end of Ecclesiastes. The next book, I don't know if we'll read it. I may end up just picking a different direction to go, but I did want to at least tell you about the last book, because we've read Proverbs and Ecclesiastes, and the next book that Solomon authored, named after him, the Song of Solomon. So the theme is, it is the nature of wisdom literature to explore the order God has established in creation. It is most natural then for wisdom literature to concern itself with relations between men and women, both emotional and sexual. That the song does so explicitly and frankly should reinforce the goodness of the gifts that God gives to men and women that bind them together in the one flesh union of marriage. Insofar as the human relationship of marriage is a consistent metaphor for the love between God and his people in the Old Testament and New Testament, marriage also reinforces the intimacy and passion that genuinely characterizes this relationship as well. For this reason, the use of the Song of Solomon as a text for reading during the celebration of the Passover was entirely appropriate in ancient Israel. However odd it might strike to a modern reader. That last part is kind of the key term, because there's a lot of sexual aphorisms and suggestive language, I guess you could say. So maybe not to be well understood by younger readers, or maybe not even read. I don't know. It's not that graphic, but it's also not shy, not vague. Given the subject matter and poetic style of the Song of Solomon, there's little archaeology can do to illumine the central message of the text. Excavations of ancient Israel have yielded no material remains bearing the direct witness to the text, or, for that matter, to the kind of human relationship of which the text speaks. However, there are many details in the text that have been clarified by archaeology. In addition to evidence for marriage customs and perfumes, which are mentioned a number of times in the book, archaeology has produced a number of texts that provide extra-biblical examples of the literary genre to which the as it says here, the whole idea of this book is less a graphic sexual depiction and more an overall positioning to say that the love for husband and wife have for each other is what the love that God has for his people. And it says a metaphor for the love between God and his people in the Old Testament and New Testament. Obviously, the language of that love changes between the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Old Testament's quite severe because there's not a propitiation or a substitution that comes from Christ in the New Testament. Something that we'll continue to study and unpack as we go along. If there's a certain book of the Bible that you'd like to be read next, or if you have a favorite, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll definitely take that into consideration as I'm planning the next steps for where the ASMR Bible series will go next. I think there will come a point in time when I also dig into some maps, and we can do some tracing on the maps of certain biblical locations. Say, oh, this happened here. I know this happened here. I know this happened here. And maybe put legs to stories that you've heard before, or maybe stories you've never heard before, and cast them in a new light that makes them that much more enjoyable. But for now, we'll go ahead and draw this video to a close, seeing as I've finished the source material.